Hey there, Squirrel Army. Today, I want to have a look at our mere tribal friend, have a look at his average deck list, and see how we can buff that average deck list. You can join the Squirrel Army by subscribing. Alright, so let's go over to the average deck. Take this list, put it into Architect, and see what we can do with it. All right, so we've got quite a list of stuff here. Some stuff that I think is quite good and some stuff that I am on the fence about. I am kind of on the fence about 33 lands, though, as well. That seems a little bit off, but we can see what we can do with this list as well as what we can fix with this list. I don't know about Clip the Lithrite, but that it does help us to have our creatures be able to tap for mana, certainly. The Tempered Steel is an enchantment. I would rather us have it on a creature, if we're going to have that kind of effect. I think I'm happy with almost everything else here. I do think we want Anointed Procession and maybe a Parallel Lives in this deck somewhere as well. So I'm just spitballing ideas here for the moment. Swords Path is fine. I don't think we want this. I know it's on our theme and it makes mirrors, but honestly, I think the one-off effect is probably not worth our time. So we'll get rid of this for now. I'm not a huge fan of tutors, but I'm going to leave these in. Dispatch will be fine. Now, I'm not huge on Counterspell in a 5-color deck, but I don't think we're too heavily strung. Let's just check. Actually, blue is like one of our top colors. Black is barely there. And then white. We don't have much green either, which surprises me, to be honest. But I do find that we might have a few too many like mana rocks and things like that. There are some that are very good, obviously. And we are an artifact deck to a degree, but again, okay. So what have we got? That's probably fine. I don't know how many. Like we do have some colorless lands. Actually, we've got a lot of tap lands. We've got a lot of the artifact lands, which I don't really understand. Like it works for Tezzeret. That's probably the only card that I'm seeing that actually really works for. We're going to have a lot of artifacts, but like nothing really cares about us having artifact lands besides Tezzeret, I don't think. So that's one card that I would think about. Arcane Signet, we could get some better ramp than Chromatic Lantern and that as well, I think. Omens can just combo off. I don't know whether we need Dark Steel Forge. That's probably alright though. It is 9 mana though, so I'm kind of on the fence with that. But there is a fair bit here for us to kind of go through. So I don't want to sit here for too long rabbiting on. We want all of our mirrors. And we want as many shapeshifters and whatnot that we can get that help us with our plan. There's a lot of stuff here that is stuff that I would think really needs to be in here. And there's a lot of stuff that I don't think needs to be in here. So it's going to take me quite a while to really look through this list and really figure out exactly what I want to do with it, where I want to go with it, what I want to kind of add. I just wanted to get a quick look through what we've got and figure out what we can kind of do with this list, and where we can kind of go and what we can kind of begin with. So, yeah, it's a long list of stuff that we need to go through. So I will go away, have a bit of tinker, and then I'll bring you guys back when I'm finished with fiddling with this. Before we get going too far on into the list, I will say that if you want to just find the deck list upgraded here, you can find it written down there in the comments below, and just check that out if you want to. Otherwise, we'll get along with it. Alright, guys, so we're now having a look at the list. I've got to 100 cards, which I'm happy with. And we've got to about $400 or so for this list. So yeah, it's not a budget list by some means, but we have cut a fair few dollars from the list, which was $69, which I'm actually surprised by because really mostly I only cut like all the lands that were in here, all the artifact lands. Now, some people may disagree with me taking out the artifact lands, but again, the only card that I think really cared about the artifact lands was Tezzeret. So I was just like, they don't really fit in here that much. So yeah, I just took them out, just replaced them with basics because I just thought, well, we've got, and it's too many tap lands. Maybe the like single color ones you could argue because they don't come in tapped, but then they only tap for one color. So, but they're still equivalent to a basic, I guess. So, yeah, and I didn't put much into the lands. A City of Brass, and I think that was about it. No, I put in World Tree, didn't I? Yeah, that was right. I put in World. Oh no, I also put in the other Urza's Land and some swamps because there wasn't even swamps in the list for some unbeknownst reason, which was really weird. So yeah, that's where I was with the lands. So I'm not really going to go through the lands in this pile very much. Counterspell, I felt like we could find a better just counterspell if we really wanted. So I put Dovin's Veto in. And as I said, Chromatic Lantern, it's like turning off your brain for like your land base, sure, but we can just like get like the World Tree for that. And I think it's a whole lot better because it's on a land. So I don't know, but like it is. This is an artifact deck, but I just couldn't find enough room for absolutely everything, so I needed to make some cuts here somewhere. The Darksteel Forge, though it is kind of alright, I just felt at 9 mana we could be doing so much more. We could win the game at 9 mana, so we don't really need Indestructible. Like, a lot of the stuff that does destroy stuff in our deck doesn't really destroy most of our stuff, so I don't really think we need to worry about that much. And I don't think we need to worry about our opponents killing our stuff at 9 mana. I think we would be better off to just counterspell it or whatever. So, the Inspector, I found that we could find something a bit cheaper and a bit better in the Aerialist or whatever it is, the Mechanaut. So yeah, I thought we'd just take that out. Already sort of explained the call here, so I'm not going to really go through that. Sort of half talked about the Tempered Steel, but I did find a few creatures that would do the job, and we already had some artifacts that did this job plus more, so I felt we could take it out. And again, Thoughtcast, it's a one-off effect. It's a nice one-off effect, but it's a one-off effect. We want consistent card draw or card advantage. We don't want to just draw a whole bunch of cards at one time in the game. We want to be drawing cards or getting access to more cards no matter what part of the game we are constantly. So that's where I'm at with that. I did add one more Wrath in Their Name is Death, because I felt like we are a very colorless and artifact-based deck. We do have some non-artifact and whatnot based stuff, but mostly we are, so I just added that. Already talked about adding Dovin's Veto, because I felt like that's just a better counter spell, can't be countered as well, so that's pretty good. And added Anguished Unmaking just to exile anything and we just lose 3 life. I felt we were very low on artifact and enchantment removal, So I do feel like it should add some, but it's hard because the list is pretty darn tight. But I don't think we added anything in the enchantments, nor do I really think that we added much in the artifacts. No, I don't think we did. I don't even think we added a huge amount in the creatures, but we did. I did change a few things. Put in adaptive automaton because I thought that's really good because it is a changeling in a sense as well. It is that creature type when you play it, so it does work with our commander, so it does buff our stuff up, so that's good. The Mechanaut, as I said, just reducing our spells, which most of them are artifacts, so that is well worth it. The Mimic, yeah, it sometimes it's a bit hit and miss, because everything that you want to cast everything after it, and if you draw it late, it's kind of bad, but it still makes a thing for us, and it still is of our type essentially as well, so it really works well for us in that regard. So if we get it early, we're happy to get it, and we can tutor for it. So I added Phyrexian Metamorph because I thought just cloning anything of ours that's really good, or anything of any of our opponents that's really good, is well worth our time, and it is a shapeshifter as well, so it does count for our commander, so that's well worth our time. And Realm Walker because, again, it is of our type in being a Mia, and it can help us play our Mias from the top. We do have a lot of other artifacts and whatnot in this deck, but I still think it's well worth it because it comes with that extra body and gives us that extra card advantage. We do have a third of our deck being our actual creatures. So that's what I added to the list here. You guys can let me know what you guys think of this one. Write your thoughts down there in the comments below. But otherwise, guys, that's pretty much it for this one. Hope you've enjoyed and hope to catch you in the next one.